He world was left stunned as Jason Lee revealed the heart-wrenching truth about Chrisean Jr.'s struggles. A story so disturbing it shakes you to the core, making you question how something so horrific could happen. Chrisean Jr., a baby who should be receiving love and care, is instead suffering through unimaginable pain. The chilling images photos that show signs of bleeding from his private area now in the hands of the authorities. This isn't just a medical issue. It's a cry for help. A scream of innocence lost in the chaos of neglect. Chrisean Rock, the mother who should be protecting him, has failed him time and time again. Missing crucial surgeries, ignoring his diaper rashes, and letting him suffer without the care he desperately needs. The pain is real. The neglect is real. The silence is deafening. Imagine a mother turning a blind eye as her child suffers. Chrisean Jr.'s health is deteriorating, and the possibility that he might not survive his third birthday is becoming more real every day. The public has finally woken up, but is it too late? How long will this little boy have to endure? How long will Chrisean Rock continue to neglect him? The time has come to ask the most painful question of all. Why is this child still in her care? This story isn't just about a mother's mistakes. It's about a child's life hanging in the balance. A life that could slip away without the help he deserves. This is not just a story. It's a tragedy that demands action. And as the truth comes to light, it will break hearts and force the world to ask, how much longer will this child suffer? The world was rocked by a story so painful, so heartbreaking, that it makes you question everything you thought you knew about love and responsibility. Chrisean Jr., a baby boy who should be surrounded by warmth, care, and protection, is instead trapped in an unimaginable nightmare. His pain, his suffering, is too much to bear. But what's worse, he's suffering at the hands of the one person who should be his protector, his mother, Chrisean Rock. The disturbing truth started to unravel when shocking photos of Chrisean Jr.'s condition surfaced. Graphic, heart-wrenching images that showed signs of bleeding from his private area, sent to the police by someone close to the situation, have left the public in a state of utter disbelief. These pictures aren't just disturbing, they're a cry for help. A silent scream from a child who can't speak, but whose pain is too loud to ignore. Chrisean Rock, a mother who should be doing everything in her power to ensure her son's safety and well-being, has failed him in every way possible. Reports have emerged that Chrisean has neglected her child's medical needs for months. The baby, in desperate need of hernia surgeries, has had them delayed time and again. His condition has worsened, but still Chrisean refuses to seek the urgent care he needs. His skin, already fragile, is marked by severe diaper rashes, signs of neglect so obvious that anyone with a shred of decency would recognize the need for immediate intervention. But not Chrisean. She seems to turn a blind eye to the suffering of her own flesh and blood. The devastating part: this isn't a case of forgetfulness or simple negligence. This is intentional neglect. A baby boy whose cries go unheard, whose pain goes ignored. While his mother lives in a world of luxury, fame, and attention, Chrisean has been seen living a lavish lifestyle, flaunting her wealth and enjoying her fame. Yet, in the midst of all this, her son is left to suffer alone, neglected and in pain. How does a mother sleep at night knowing that her child is enduring this torment? But the truth is finally coming to light. Chrisean Jr., a baby who didn't ask to be born into this world of chaos, is now paying the price for his mother's choices. As the child's condition worsens, the world is slowly waking up to the harsh reality of his suffering. The photos that leaked weren't just a wake-up call. They were a final cry for justice. People have started to question how a mother could continue to ignore her child's cries, to ignore the signs of abuse and neglect that are so painfully obvious. As the public demands answers, the question remains, how much longer can this go on? How long will this innocent child be forced to suffer under the care of someone who doesn't care? The world is watching, but still, there is no sign that Chrisean Rock will step up and do the right thing for her son. Instead, she continues to dodge responsibility, and make excuses. This is not just about Chrisean Jr. suffering. It's about every child who is forced to endure neglect because their caregivers fail to do their job. This is a tragedy that should never have happened. A tragedy that could have been avoided if Chrisean had done what any mother should, protected her child. But she didn't. And now a child's life is at risk because of it. The most gut-wrenching part of all this, Chrisean Rock is not alone in her ignorance. Those who are supposed to help, family members, friends, even healthcare professionals, all complicit by standing by and allowing this abuse to continue. The baby's medical records, now leaked for the world to see, tell a story of pain, neglect, and unforgivable failure. But it's not too late to fix this. It's not too late for someone to step in and save this child's life. The facts are in. Chrisean Jr. has been diagnosed with fetal alcohol syndrome, neonatal abstinence syndrome, spasticity, and severe visual impairment. These are not just labels, they are the tragic reality of a baby who is struggling to survive. He can barely move, let alone crawl or walk. He spends his days in a stroller or being carried around. This isn't just a sick child. This is a child who needs immediate intervention and care. Without the necessary medical treatment, his life is in danger. And yet, Chrisean Rock continues to ignore him. The allegations against her have spiraled out of control. Critics have been calling for action, demanding that the authorities step in and remove Chrisean Jr. from her care. The story has exploded on social media, with people from all walks of life demanding justice for this innocent boy. But will it be enough? Will anyone step in before it's too late? As this tragic story unfolds, the entire world is waiting for one thing. Will someone save this child before he becomes another victim of neglect? Time is running out. Chrisean Jr. deserves better. He deserves a chance at life, and he deserves a mother who will protect him, not abandon him. This is just the beginning of the truth. The real story is far more devastating than anyone could have imagined. And it's a story we need to hear, loud and clear. The nightmare that Chrisean Jr. is living continues to spiral further into chaos. And the world can no longer look away. Every passing day, this innocent child is slipping further into pain. All because the one person who should protect him has failed him beyond comprehension. Chrisean Rock, the woman who gave birth to this precious soul, is supposed to be his guardian, his protector. Yet she has become the very reason for his suffering. The truth is horrifying. Chrisean Jr. is battling more than just physical pain. His neurological disorders are rapidly worsening. Fetal alcohol syndrome, neonatal abstinence syndrome, severe spasticity, and cortical visual impairment are just the start of the horrific list. These diagnoses are not something any mother should ignore, but Chrisean Rock continues to turn a blind eye. Each day that passes, his condition worsens. The baby boy, who should be crawling, exploring, and discovering the world, can barely move. His muscles are stiff and unresponsive, and his once bright eyes now appear vacant, as if he is trapped in a body that no longer obeys him. The medical community has been clear: without proper, immediate treatment, this child's life expectancy is rapidly shrinking. The very care he needs to survive is being denied by the woman who promised to care for him, love him, and protect him. Chrisean Rock seems to be more interested in her own fame and the glittering lights of social media than in the life of her child. She posts pictures, parties, and flaunts her lifestyle, all while her baby boy suffers in silence. What kind of mother chooses her own selfish desires over her child's life? But the breaking point came when Chrisean Jr.'s medical records were leaked to the public. What was revealed was not just a list of diagnoses, it was a horrifying tale of neglect and desperation. The baby is supposed to be in palliative care. It's a form of treatment that focuses on making the child's limited time as comfortable as possible. But instead, he is trapped in a cycle of pain and neglect, abandoned by the very person who is supposed to ensure he has a fighting chance at life. The details are unbearable. This child has been left to suffer, ignored by his mother despite his constant cries for help. And now, those cries are being heard, not just by the public, but by Jason Lee, who exposed this heartbreaking truth. He saw the baby up close and was shocked beyond belief at the level of neglect. Jason's decision to speak out has forced the world to open its eyes, but the damage has already been done. Chrisean Jr.'s life hangs in the balance and no one seems to be doing enough to save him, but the public is not backing down. The outrage is growing and it's becoming impossible for Chrisean to ignore the truth any longer. The question now is, why is nothing being done to remove this child from her care? Why are we allowing this innocent baby to suffer for a second longer when we could intervene? As the world watches in disbelief, many are starting to believe that the only way to save Chrisean Jr. is to take him out of Chrisean Rock's care. He needs someone who will fight for him, someone who will ensure he gets the medical help he so desperately needs. And the longer this goes on, the more people are beginning to wonder, what will it take for someone to step in and rescue this child? How many more times will we watch a child suffer before we say, enough is enough? And then, in the midst of all this, we hear the heart-wrenching words of a loudmouth critic who has now become one of the most vocal voices in this fight. They dared to make a public bet saying, I'll put up $5,000 that Blueface and Chrisean Rock's child is going to be a mess. The baby's not going to be normal. There's no way this child will be healthy after everything he's been through. The coldness of this statement stings. But, as cruel as it sounds, there's a terrifying truth behind it. This child's future is uncertain. His life is at risk. And it's all because of his mother's neglect. This chilling prediction has forced the public to confront a bitter reality. The child's suffering is no longer just a rumor, it's a reality. Chrisean Jr. is in danger. And yet, the world remains paralyzed as if nothing can be done. Why is this happening? How is it possible that a child who needs urgent care and attention is still being left to suffer in this way? People are starting to call it abuse, not just neglect, but a complete disregard for this child's well-being. His life, his future is being destroyed day by day under the care of someone who should have never been allowed to have him. And now the world is screaming for action. We need to act before it's too late. Chrisean Jr. did not ask for this. He did not ask to be born into this nightmare. But now we have to ask ourselves, how long will we stand by and let him suffer? The time to act is now. The world is watching and it's time to demand justice for this innocent child. This is no longer just a story. It's a tragedy, a ticking time bomb. And we need to step in before it's too late. The world is holding its breath as the tragic tale of Chrisean Jr. continues to unfold. Every day, this innocent child is left to suffer in silence, his cries for help ignored by the one person who should be there for him. It's not just Chrisean Wall is to blame. The system has failed this child. Why hasn't Child Protective Services stepped in to remove him from her care? How could they let this go on? The baby's life is hanging by a thread, and still, the authorities do nothing. The people who are supposed to protect children have turned a blind eye to this nightmare. The world is starting to ask, what will it take for someone to step in and save Chrisean Jr.? There's something deeply wrong with this picture. Chrisean Jr. is facing an uphill battle for survival, but his biggest fight is for the basic care. He deserves a fight that Chrisean Rock is refusing to engage in. She's failed him in every possible way. The medical neglect alone is enough to make anyone sick. The baby is suffering from conditions that should have been treated months ago. Yet, he continues to be denied the care he needs. His life is being stolen from him slowly, painfully. But this story is far from over. A new chapter is about to unfold. After the explosive leak of Chrisean Jr.'s medical records, the truth about his deteriorating health has gone viral. Jason Lee, who has been at the center of this drama, has confirmed the shocking allegations. He's seen the baby up close, and what he witnessed was beyond heartbreaking. Jason Lee is calling for immediate action. Seen the truth with his own eyes, and now he's demanding that someone take action before it's too late. The public is demanding the same. The clock is ticking. And the world is terrified that Chrisean Jr. may not make it much longer. With each day that passes, his chances of survival decrease. And still, his mother remains silent. The reality of the situation is becoming impossible to ignore. This baby could die because his mother didn't care enough to give him the help he needed. But here's where the story takes another devastating turn. In the face of all the public outrage, Chrisean has responded with deflection. Instead of taking responsibility for her actions and seeking help for her son, she's chosen to lash out, to accuse others of trying to tarnish her image. She's more focused on defending herself than on saving her son's life. How can anyone defend a mother who is more concerned with her reputation than with her child's survival? The truth is clear. Chrisean Jr. is facing an uncertain future, and the chances of him making it through this nightmare are fading fast. The world is united in outrage, and it's impossible to ignore the growing movement calling for justice for this child. People are demanding that Chrisean be held accountable for her neglect, and they're calling for immediate action to ensure Chrisean Jr. gets the medical care he so desperately needs. But the question remains, will anyone step in before it's too late? How long will this child have to suffer before someone does the right thing? This is not just a story of medical neglect. This is a story of a child who has been failed by the system, by his mother, and by everyone who had the power to help him. But it's not over yet. The world is watching, and it's time for change. Chrisean Jr. deserves a chance at life. He deserves a mother who will fight for him. And now, it's time for the world to stand up and demand that he gets the care and protection he so desperately needs before it's too late. This is no longer just a tragic story, it's a call for action. And the world will not be silent. This is not just a story, this is a wake-up call. Chrisean Jr., an innocent baby, is fighting for his life. And Chrisean, the person who should be fighting for him, is turning a blind eye to his suffering. His life is hanging in the balance sand. It's not just about medical care. It's about whether he will survive long enough to see another day. We can't stay silent. We can't just watch this tragedy unfold and do nothing. The world needs to step up. Chrisean must be held accountable for her neglect. Chrisean Jr. deserves better than this. He deserves to be surrounded by people who will protect him, love him, and ensure he gets the care he so desperately needs. Time is running out, and we can't afford to wait any longer. It's time to demand justice for this child. The truth is out, and now it's on us to make sure Chrisean Jr. doesn't suffer in silence any longer. We need to raise our voices, spread the word, and make sure this story doesn't fade into the background. If you care about children's rights, if you believe in justice, if you believe in righting wrongs, it's time to speak up. Share this story. Share it everywhere on your social media, with your friends, your family, your followers. Let the world see what is happening. Let them know that we will not let this go unnoticed. Chrisean Jr.'s life depends on us now. He deserves a future, and we're the ones who can make that future possible. Don't let his pain be in vain. Take action. Demand that authorities step in and remove him from harm's way. This is our moment, and we cannot let it pass. Share this story now and help ensure that this child gets the care, love, and protection he deserves before it's too late. Stand with Chrisean Jr. Make this go viral. Let the world hear his cries for help. Now is the time.